Hey everybody, it's Coach Steve. If it's your goal to break 100, you need to streamline your practice. There's 4 areas that I want you to concentrate on. The first one, ball striking. How do we advance the ball? If you're not breaking 100, probably means you're duffing it too much. There's 2 things that you need to be able to do to not duff it. You need to be able to transfer your weight and release it. Let's start with releasing it. The release is the mechanism by which you transfer the power from your golf swing into the ball. And it is comprised of extending your wrists and rotating your forearms. And if you can do that at the right time, in the right way, you should be able to make clean ball contact. So I want you to practice it like this. Put your feet together, make your grip. And I just want you to practice without a ball, little half swings where you rotate your right arm so your right hand goes on top of your left hand. I'm going to show you from this angle. If you have the correct grip for your swing style, you should be able to do that and hit little shots that go pretty straight. Watch this. If you're unable to release it, you're going to get some sort of shape like this where you get your elbow sort of in the way. That's called a chicken wing, and that's going to cause you to maybe flip the face or hold it open. So you want to avoid that. You want to make sure that you're releasing it, and that should be pretty natural. It shouldn't be something that you inhibit. So practice that first. Most golfers who struggle with clean ball contact have difficulty transferring their weight because of sequencing problems. I'm going to give you 3 drills that help you to sequence your swing better so that you make better contact. The first drill is simply single leg shots where you put your lead leg, in my case as a right-handed golfer, that's going to be in my left leg, here at the approximately the same position of the ball, and then I'm going to put my right foot back on the tippy toe. And all I'm going to do is do some swings where I try not to fall. I'm going to try to just release it and then stand up straight and watch the shot. If you're unable to transfer your weight, possibly it could be because you're not able to really rotate or post up into that lead hip. And this is just a great way to build that strength and stability so that you're able to use that left leg as a pivot center. If you just do that for 5 to 10 minutes, you should be able to get some good training for that lead hip. The second drill is simply a sequencing drill. I'm simply going to take my normal address position, maybe a tick wider than normal, and then I'm going to bring my left foot next to my right foot. Now I'm just going to remember where my left foot was. As I swing back, as the club is passing my legs, I'm going to step back to where my foot was and then continue to hit the ball. It should look like this. This is a great drill for getting the order of events in your downswing correct. Because if you do it, if you step while you're rotating back, what's happening there is that you're actually beginning with an impulse from your lower body, while your upper body is actually still rotating back. This causes the separation of those 2 segments, and it enables you to sequence it correctly. And the final drill is called the Gary Player. And what we're doing here is we're just trying to get our trail leg to produce a heavy enough impulse so that we get more than enough to the left and even actually a little too much. We're going to implement the principle of exaggeration and really get our weight going to the target. Watch this. If you're able to push hard enough that you can get through the shot like that, then it's going to be easy for you to just get it to the left leg and hold. But if you're getting thrown back by the leverage of the club at impact, then the impulse that you're creating at the beginning of the downswing probably isn't large enough. So use that one to learn that skill. The second area that I want you to concentrate on is getting your up and downs. Up and down is if I miss the green, I can get my chip close enough that I can make the putt and save my target score, which may be a par or a bogey. If you're not making clean contact with your chips, it's going to be hard to make up and downs. Now, even the best in the world don't do it all the time, but if you can up your up and down percentage and get it somewhere into a 50% range, you're going to be doing pretty well as far as getting to your target score. The reason a lot of golfers don't make solid contact with their wedges is they're not aware of a few things. When I take a sand wedge, this club is designed to interact with the ground, so I want to make sure that that's exactly what I'm doing. So I just teach my students one little simple mantra: brush and hold. That means I want you to really focus on brushing the grass and holding your finish position. There's a lot of information packed into that little tip that we're not going to unpack right now. But you'll find it is impossible to be consistent with chipping if you're decelerating and stopping and flipping. That's why we try to get through to a finished position and hold it. And if you can hold it, you'll teach your body over time to develop a consistent arc and a consistent deep spot, and it'll be easy to do the first thing, which is brushing. Because brushing occurs when you have the club in a proper position, without a closed face, with an adequate amount of bounce on the bottom of the club, and you're able to let that club surf along the ground and it doesn't dig. If you can do that, you're going to make solid contact with your chips. So grab yourself a pile of balls and just work on brushing and holding. I'm going to do 2 practice swings, make sure that I can hear the sound of the club brushing the ground. And I hold each of my practice swing. Then I'm going to go to the ball, take a look at my target. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to brush and hold. I just want to make sure the ball is cleanly struck. Okay, I'm just going to repeat this over and over until I've got a confidence that I can allow the club to surf on the ground and it's not going to catch with the leading edge and dig in. If you put the club too far forward, you're going to dig. If you close the face, you're going to dig. So you have to make sure the face is square. There's not too much shaft lean, just a little. Brush and hold. Okay, so get out there and practice that. It's a really great way to get more consistent with your chips. The third area that you're going to want to work on if you're trying to break 100 is putting. The main concern that you're going to have here is avoiding 3-putting. That's probably one of the lowest hanging fruit in this entire project. If you can get the 3 putts out of your system, you're going to be able to break 100 a lot easier. One of the main reasons people 3-putt is that they don't have good distance control. I've built here a little putt ladder with 10 different tees about 1 yard apart. I'm just going to try to putt the ball so that it stops in the first zone. So the beginning of the zone is at the first tee and between the first and second tee. And then I'm going to putt one in the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and so on. And I just need to make myself aware of how much amplitude I have in my stroke. If I'm doing a short putt, obviously I'm going to want to have a short amplitude, a small swing. Be careful though. You want to have the same backswing as follow through. You don't want to take a long backswing and a short follow through, because then you're going to be jabbing at it. Okay. You also don't want to take an extremely short backswing and a long follow through, because you might double hit it. So you want to just have sort of a symmetrical movement, and then just try to make yourself aware of how much swing you have in the backswing and in the follow through. So I'm going to try to hit this first zone. Okay, easy enough. I'm going to go for the second zone. Now I need to have a slightly larger swing. Okay, after that, third zone. Now I'm just looking at that entire zone there. Doesn't matter, the line doesn't matter here. Just make yourself aware of your distance control. Try to get that speed correct. All right, so I hit that one a little too short, because the third zone starts here and I'm still in the second zone with that one. So I'm just gonna grab another ball and just sort of recalibrate and do a practice swing and just kind of work my way up the ladder until I get to zone 10. If I can make my way up the ladder and back, then I'm going to start to vary it. I'm going to say to myself, okay, I'm going to hit zone 3 and then zone 7 and then zone 1 and then zone 10. Just sort of switch it up a little bit. See if you can be aware of your speed control. If you can do that, you're going to get the ball closer to the hole. And hopefully you're close enough that you don't have a lot of work to make the smaller putt. So for putts in this range, I want to be pretty secure. I want to be making most of these putts. I don't want to be lipping too many of these out. So I'm going to spend some of my practice time just making these putts. And I want you to use some of the advantages that the ball manufacturers have given you. On each of these balls, you're going to have an arrow, which the manufacturer has provided, and I've put my own markings on there because I want to see a bright red line. And I'm just going to use that to line up the ball. As you can see, I'm squatted behind the ball. I can see the line here perfectly, and I'm just going to make sure that I've got that lined up right where I want the ball to go. Okay, and then all I've got to do now is do my practice stroke, get the right swing for this distance. And now I just need to get the line on my putter lined up with the line on the ball. And if I've read that putt correctly, I should be able just to do a stroke, trust that stroke, and it should go in the hole. I'm going to try to repeat that several times in a row, and by doing this, I will build up my trust in making these short putts. And that's the other half of not three putting. You first have to lag it close enough that you can make the short putt, and then you've got to make the short putt. The fourth thing you need to do to break 100 is practice taking what we've just talked about onto the course. You're going to be trying to do what's called the bogey tactic. That means you have to try to get the ball to the hole in one over regulation, which means you're going to be depending heavily on a club that you use for what are called transport shots. Transport shots are not shots that you need to be particularly precise with. You just need to move the ball down the fairway an acceptable distance so that you can wedge it onto the green and hopefully make two putts. If you have a 3-wood in your bag, you're probably not going to want to use that. It's going to be too difficult to hit. You want to find something that's got a little bit more loft. It could be an iron that you trust. It could be a hybrid that you trust. It's got to be something that you can get up in the air consistently and move it down the fairway. If you're duffing it twice on the round, that's 2 times too many. You need to get away from duffing the ball. So I'm going to take a 6-iron and I'm going to pick a corridor which is about 30 yards wide, and I'm just going to try to hit that 10 times in a row. I'm taking the white and the blue post out there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to just go ahead and try to hit that 10 times in a row, doing my pre-shot routine each time. So I'm going to step behind the ball. I'm going to visualize where I want the ball to go. I'm going to do a practice swing so I get a feel for what the shot's going to be like. Then I'm just going to take that trust and commitment to the ball, and I'm going to just try to hit my corridor with the 6-iron. Okay, so I got that pretty much in the middle of the corridor, and I would want to do that 10 times, and if I can do that 10 times here, that means I can take that onto the course and I can reproduce that under the gun in a situation where I need to hit the fairway and I just need to move it an acceptable distance. If I'm really good with my 6-iron, well then, I could probably try it with my 5-iron. But you want to try it on the range first before you take it on the course. Find a club that you can trust to move you from point A to point B. Remember, to break 100, all you need to do is try to go for the bogey tactic, and you can get about half bogeys and half double bogeys, and you're still going to break 100.